Welcome to Next Level Confidence Podcast. I'm Karen Barno, your host. Next Level Confidence Podcast is for women looking to step into who they were born to be, who they were meant to be, by eliminating, removing the blocks and the sabotaging and the shadows that hold them back. And we do this by chatting about different things on this podcast and having guests. I do want to give you a vulnerability alert today. This topic is just sitting heavy on my heart, so I really need to talk about it. So I hope you like it. I was listening to a podcast over the weekend called, I think, Fem Energy. And she was talking about how, she helps women step into their feminine energy and embrace their feminine energy more. And as I was listening to it, I started to do a quick, review of myself. I wonder where I come up on that topic. And I realized that I am so entrenched in the masculine energy that I have to sit and think, well, what is the fem energy? Because when I was raised, it wasn't a great time for women in the workplace, so I had to, kind of toughen up. I was in the military, and it was at the very beginning when they started allowing women to even join the military. And that was only as a medic in the Air Force. The Navy was not taking women at the time. The Marines were, and I think the Army were at the time as well. So I've constantly existed in this masculine energy, thumb chest with the guys. And I was kind of sad about it because I realized, how many women out there, especially in the workplace, are so masculine. And I don't mean that, hey guys, thump my chest, but you know what I mean? It's kind of that kill or be killed, win or lose. There's no in between. And I've realized it's hard for me to partner up. Not in relationships, but in the workplace. Because for me, it's either you're the hunter or the huntee. And if you're a competitor, then it's my job to kick your ass. Because that's how it was for me and how I was raised, in sports and everything. And to sit back and think, that really isn't how it is anymore. And I don't know if it ever really was that way. But that's kind of how I've always come across. And, I was talking to somebody and they're like, we really need to do this and this. And I was like, well, we can't. Don't you know who they are? Don't you know this, that? And it was like, but Karen, not everything is like that anymore. Not everything's black and white. It's okay to show emotion. Now, I am a big crybaby. So I do cry, at events when somebody's winning, I'll cry. But to just cry, I keep that within. I keep all this, in check. And when I walk into a room, I absolutely positively will own every room I walk into. But it's with this heavy masculine, I will take any one of you guys on and I will guarantee I will win. And it's not necessarily competitive. I know it sounds competitive, but when it comes to sports, when I golf or bowl or any of that stuff, I'm not all that competitive. Amazingly, you would think I would be, but I'm really not in those environments. It's like, I just golf to golf and have fun. And so if you're listening to this and my audience is predominantly women and you're over 55, I really want you to kind of sit back and think, what kind of energy are you in? Because energy is changeable. Energy is what you send out to the universe to bring back. Now, if I'm dressed up and I'm places, I have feminine energy. I don't want to make it sound like, I don't. But I think in the workplace, I am into the competitiveness so much that I miss the beauty. I miss the just being who I am. Just being a lot softer. Even when I do these videos, I'm like, rawr, because that's all I know how to be. And I have to learn, and I do hope some of you guys are shaking your head yes, like, I know what you're saying, because to be in the feminine energy, will something bad befall us? Especially, those of us that have trauma in our background, in the background from men that have this trauma, so you're already kind of on guard, you're already like that. And I just think we're missing out on so much. And the funny thing is I do energy work. I do Reiki. I do all that stuff. But I wasn't realizing, and I know how to make sure I vibrate at a high level And, I stay as positive as I can. I feel like I'm positive. I'm going to say 93% of the time, because negativity slips in there. I don't care who you are. I do all that. I ground myself. I walk in the backyard with my bare feet to ground myself in Mother Earth. I have all kinds of, I can't think of them, crystals, all that. And yet, I'm not soft all the time. I'm not who I really am. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. Because within, I'm very soft. I'm very loving. I'm very, I don't know, all this stuff. I can't think of the right word right now. But because of everything taking place in my life, I went the other way and became very masculine. And again, I hope some of you guys are shaking your head yes on this. And moving forward, it is my goal, my mission, to help women, especially over 50, not only regain your confidence and step into who you are meant to be, but to also become more feminine, that it's okay to laugh, it's okay to cry, it's okay to team up with everybody, it's okay to bring buddies, that the world's shifting and being feminine isn't a negative. It's not like the Virginia Slims commercial that I talk about all the time. You can bring home the bacon fried up in a pan and make sure your husband knows he's a man. That was our version of feminine. I mean, if you go back to the 80s and you see, what Annie Hall was wearing, and, these movies where the women were in the workplace, they had on these boxy suits and these briefcases, and they were like, arr, arr, I'll kick your ass if I have to. And those were our role models. That's what you was like, oh my God, I want to be like her. I want to get that exact same boxy suit and that exact same briefcase, and I'm going to throw elbows as well. The problem is we carried it with us. So as we worked in the workplace and people would be like, well, she's crying like a woman, or she's being this like a woman, we'd step back and be like, we can't be like that. How will we have success? So I fear that a lot of us step the opposite way. And we have to shift ourselves back to the middle. We have to find our energy that will allow us to step into who we are meant to be, to step in the feminine version and be okay with it. So let me know what you guys think about this. Let me know if you guys are agreeing or you're disagreeing. Are you like, oh my gosh, she's so right? Because my videos, everything I do is very much, my sister was just telling me about this, but she was coming at it because she's also very much a tomboy. So, she's kind of like, brr, too. But she was telling me, when you do your videos, you're like pointing and yelling at her. She didn't realize, because when her and I are together, I'm much more softer and kinder because I'm in my feminine energy because I'm with my sister. I'm more in my feminine energy with my husband than I am with the outside world because I have trust. And she was like, I don't know why you yell at people. Why don't you just be softer? What she didn't realize is what she was trying to tell me is, bring your feminine energy to the game. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to say, hey, I don't know. Because in so many ways, and this is embarrassing, in so many ways I can be such a know-it-all. I have read extensively because I felt that the key to success was to know everything. Now, nobody can know everything. But if somebody talks about something at the table, I'm hurrying up and Googling it and trying to figure it out. And I've become a know-it-all. Nobody likes know-it-alls. But that's how I was able to fit in. That's how I was able to keep my place at the table. Because back then it was all men at the table. So when you got to sit at that table, you had to make sure you kept your place. I can remember going to meetings and going to the restroom, and the guys would walk out and go left to go to the men's room, which was right there, and I'd have to go down to another floor to find a women's room. And yes, ladies, that existed back then, or you'd sit and wait at a restaurant for hours to get waited on, maybe not that long, but to get waited on because they were waiting on all the guys first, because they were the better tippers. That's just how it was back then. So you learn how to kind of flex muscles. You learn how to kind of be overly masculine, overcompensating, becoming a know-it-all, so I can keep my room at the table, my seat at the table, providing value. Okay, guys, I can tell you guys don't know about this topic, so I'm going to go run everything I can about this topic and come back. Everything I can. Because that provided me that seat. But I've carried that with me to the point now where I sit around and I think, am I really happy? Am I happy with who I am? I always thought I was. I always thought I was content. But am I? Because it becomes a question of who am I? And I know a lot of you ladies over 55 are asking that exact same question. Who am I? What do I really want? And what makes me happy? And if you're at the point in your life where you feel like nothing's working, you sit there and think, why isn't anything working out for me? Why isn't any of this stuff jamming for me? What energy are you putting out? Are you doing what you really want to do? Or are you doing what you've been told you should do? Are you stuck in this big quicksand of life because you're trying so hard to be this person you're not? I mean, if your life isn't where you want it to be, you really need to look within. Looking out is not the answer. The answers are looking within and figuring out, who am I? Who do I want to project? Who do I want to be? What do I want to do? And that, moving forward, that's going to be our journey. I mean, you need to have confidence, absolutely, to sit down and say, I have been living in my male energy. And if I didn't have the confidence and the self-belief, I would never be able to do this video. Because I know a lot of people, I know people that listen to this, I know, I'm not a vulnerable person. I hate being vulnerable because I feel like people take advantage of you. But that's also masculine energy. Why don't I just step into my feminine energy and just be what I want to be? The workplace has changed, and for you guys, you youngins that are listening to this, the workplace has changed. Not 100%. You still have a lot of work to do yourselves. You still have a lot of changes you need to make in the workplace to level the playing field, especially pay raises, where men make 20 cents more on a dollar than women. On promotions where men still get all the promotions and not the women. There's a lot of work to be done. But do it by what comes natural to you. Look within and ask yourself, am I really this? I realize this podcast, and people probably don't see me flexing my muscles going, just picture it going, am I doing that? Or am I being myself? That's the question. Like I said, we'll be talking a lot more about energy and spiritual confidence and all that stuff, because it just lights me up. Because if I'm on this journey, I know you guys, a lot of you are on the same journey, so let's go together. Jump over to my Facebook group, Next Level Confidence, and join, because you're going to see a shifting of the energy. You may even see a change in the name. It might switch over to Spiritual Confidence. I don't know. We're going to go on this journey together and figure it out. But it's time to be vulnerable. It's time to embrace your feminine side. It's time to be who you're meant to be, that you have buried so far away or deep within because it was deemed unacceptable. Think of all those shadows just sitting there buried because growing up, we were told it was unacceptable. We were told women can't do this, women can't do that. When I went home and told my dad I was joining the military, he looked at me, and my dad loves me. He looked at me and he said, only whores join the military, right? I had no idea where that came from. I looked at him, and my mom looked over and said, honey, World War II's over. But that was his view. And so I had to carry that as well. So think about all the comments you've been told about women that have kind of made you lean more towards the masculine side. But let's work together and get this healed. Let's work together so we can get all the women to step into their feminine energy, so they can all find a good balance between the feminine energy and the male energy. I hope this helped you guys. If you like it, give it a review. Talk to y'all later.